PowerBoat Television is brought to you by Yamaha. Conquer water with Yamaha. Cruisers Yachts. Luxury yachts and bow riders for all your adventures. And BoatBuys.com. 60,000 new and used boats for sale. Welcome back to Thunder Bay. Last week, we explored a loop of the region's greatest boating hits, going past stunning Pie Island to the unique Bay Harbor on Thompson Island, 17 miles from the marina. And up close and personal with the Sleeping Giant. Today, far away from the Sleeping Giant, we again met our local hosts, Scott and Kristen, at their boat at the marina, which is located right downtown at Prince Arthur's Landing at Marina Park. After discussing who needed the coffee more, we were ready to rock.
So little cloud cover, no big deal, but day 2 of the cruise. Scott, you're fired as captain. Kristen, you're taking over.
Woo!
Taking us up the Kaministiquia.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. But I can just call it the Cam.
Yes, the camera.
Cam works.
So pitter patter, let's get at her.
Nice day on the lake today too.
Of course, right?
Yeah. Oh, gotta be quiet. Don't wake the Sleeping Giant. That's the early lead for worst joke of the trip. What's it like here? I get to go to a lot of marinas in different places, and I don't think it's a purposeful thing necessarily, but there does seem to be that, stereotype that it's often, the man will be captaining the boat and the woman will be, tending the lines and helping out. Is that something that you notice? Am I out of left field here? But it's nice to see, a woman driving the boat and not just saying, oh, I'll do the lines.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that is commonly what you do see. However, there has been, that I've noticed locally, quite a change in the genders of people captaining different boats and learning how to, properly run a boat and navigate. Some of the courses I've taken, there's been quite a few women that have been involved. And I find with our boat, it's co-captaining, which is so beneficial for running a boat because both parties on the boat know how to run the boat if something should happen, an emergency, or just if you're going on these long trips. It's great to have somebody who can take over the helm and know what they're doing and read a chart and continue on our journeys. It's been a lot of fun.
So we're gonna head up the Kaministiquia River.
Yes.
So just tell me a little bit about where we go. And is this something that you do? Like, do you guys do this cruise? Do you take friends, or are you just doing this for us?
We often go up the Cam River. It's a beautiful trip up the river. We go all the way up to the outside of Old Fort William. It's often quite warmer than being on the lake. So sometimes with Lake Superior being unpredictable and being quite windy out there, that's always a very comfortable trip to go up the river.
Heading under the bridge to McKellar Island, that Kristen's kids call the Fish Bridge, for obvious reasons, you're officially in the river.
There possibly might be a pelican behind you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, there is a pelican.
There's a pelican.
Yeah, redeemed.
Woo!
That's the difference between a good captain and a great captain. Now, I'm not naming names, but the other day when we were out on the lake, we were promised there'd be pelicans. Saw none. Today, not even 2 miles from the dock, 3 of them.
Woo!
Did you see them, Scott? There were 3 pelicans there.
I saw the pelican.
Continuing along with this stretch of water, it's packed with history, which, if you're a history nerd like me, is amazing. And if you're just a boater, it's still super cool, as there are some pretty unique sights along here, beyond just the local industry. First up is the James Whalen Tug, now permanently moored at Kaministiquia Riverfront Heritage Park that also features a vintage via rail train. This 950 horsepower beast could break ice 40 inches thick. Not bad for something made in 1906. A kilometer later, or 1/2 nautical mile, is the Jackknife Bascule Bridge, which in my mind is a very complicated way of saying super funky lifty bridge. And it connects Mission Island to the mainland, and, like the tugboat, is well into its 2nd century. The difference, though, is that the bridge still operates. We had to have it raised to get our sedan bridge underneath, which was very cool to witness up close. It's no longer used for vehicles, but it's still used today as a rail bridge. Later in the show, we'll continue up the river and back in history as we hit Old Fort William. Just about every boat has a swim platform of one kind or another. But what happens when they rot and need to be replaced? Every boat is as different as its owner, but a common theme is a love of the water, and therefore, just about every boat has a swim platform of one kind or another. Some are tiny, some are massive, some are a part of the deck, and some are their own entertaining space altogether. But what happens when they rot and need to be replaced, but you just don't want to build your own? Well, you can bring in the pros, who will take out your old, sad, much loved but worn out platform, like this one, and trade it in for a solid aluminum replacement, and a much bigger one too. Obviously, this is not a DIY for the average boater, so you call in a pro like Mark at Sunnyside Machine and Hydraulics in Midland, Ontario. The old platform is more than just a prop for a TV shoot. It's handy to have nearby for exact measurements of where the old brackets were mounted and to match the curvature of the transom it was mounted on. Then the new platform can be built around that, and the major component, and it's a massive one, is a one-piece aluminum plate that has been laser cut to get all the details right, including Sea Ray logos. Then Mark really gets to work, prepping the entire underside edge for welding, because a swim platform is much more complex than a simple sheet of metal. Clamps are used to hold the edge in place, and then the magic happens. Next on the checklist is adding the supports. More magic and witchcraft as far as I'm concerned, having never welded myself. And once the underside supports are done, it's flipped over and the edge is welded to the main plate on the top side. The mounting brackets and supports are added, and then, to finish up the main fabrication work, a router is used to grind down the edges for a nice smooth finish. But it's not going on the boat looking like this, so it's off to get powder coated. That's pretty boring to watch, it's just baking paint on, really. But what is cool to see is the non-skid application. The now white platform gets the edges and components all taped off, and the non-skid gets blasted onto the surface. Again, happily I'm not asked to do this. You've got to have a smooth hand and an expert touch to get it on evenly. When done, just like painting a wall at home, you carefully peel back the green edging tape, and voila! All dried and ready to mount, we met Mark at the marina for the actual install. Making sure there's a clean, fresh surface is imperative, so the old silicone has to be scraped off. Because the new platform is designed around the old one, the existing mounting points remain the same, but new silicone is added. The most fun, of course, is when you go from idle bystander to human forklift. Even though it's aluminum, this is a big piece of platform, and holding it while things get lined up just right is definitely a two-person job. And then the stanchion supports are mounted, and like any perfectionist, Mark gives it a final look over and a triple check, and that's done. See? Only takes 3 minutes.
From the first weld to the plastic wrap, the whole process takes about 3 days. We talk a lot about the research and development that goes into new boating products on this show. But what exactly does it take to get a boat from a concept to the showroom? This week, we'll explore behind the scenes at Princecraft to find out just what it takes to bring a new Vectra pontoon boat to market. Princecraft's affordable Vectra pontoons are some of their most popular boats. With multiple layouts, there are 10 models ranging in length from 17 to 25 feet. Affordable, yes, but that doesn't mean they're bare bones models either. This Vectra 25 has a heap of features including 3 lounges, 4 walk-through gates, a 160-watt sound system, swiveling helm chair, and even a bimini top, all standard equipment. And there are plenty of options available too, including a Classic Edition bundle which upgrades the upholstery, helm chair, and steering wheel, while adding LED console lighting and those cool chrome docking lights. Several tube configurations with varying degrees of lifting strakes and spray shields are available depending on how much power and performance you want. All of these options and configurations are meant to provide flexibility so you can build a Vectra to suit your needs specifically. So where do these options and configurations originate? We asked the folks at Princecraft if we could take a peek behind the curtain and shed a little light on their development process. As boating trends change and new marine technologies are developed, demand for innovative new models is growing. We spoke to Jean-Philippe Martin-Dubois, who is not only the product manager, but also the marketing and customer experience director, to find out how much has changed in product development at Princecraft over the past 10 years.
I should say fishing boat and pontoons, it's like the RV industry, right? You look at that and the needs for the customer, the change. When I came in, we were changing product every 3, 4, 5 years. So you could keep a same product with small changes every year. But now you're doing this every year, 2 years, big change.
With big changes occurring more frequently and new models being developed more rapidly, we want to know, how long does it take to develop a boat like the Vectra?
I should say generally it will take 18 months from the idea to the studies, layouts and everything, then discussion, colors and everything. So 18 months is a good bet.
Most manufacturers will gather valuable feedback from as many sources as possible, including their dealer network and customer base.
There's the dealer. We do typically dealer console every year. So we ask our best dealers in US, Canada, different territories, because everybody has a different niche product that they want or market or needs. We go to the boat show, so we get a consumer feedback. We also look at what is on the market, right, our competition. So with all those tools and channels, that's where we go.
More pontoons with big swim platforms, fridges, bars, and full galleys would seem to indicate a shift in tune usage, undoubtedly discovered during the research phase.
Cruising guys are moving to the pontoon because they don't stay on the boat for days when what they were doing back in the days. So they just go on the water for 1-2 days. They want the full amenities that they had in the cruiser. So that's what we offer.
Once an idea is cemented, the real development begins. But the clock is ticking. So having the latest development tools can help accelerate the process. Computer modeling, for example, can aid in design and even testing with software like SolidWorks. But some design elements require visual confirmation, and often a sketch phase will occur prior to any 3D mockup, allowing a team to consider variations in materials, textures, colors, and graphics. Prototypes are built for testing, where the layout and furniture mass can be simulated in various configurations to ensure a balanced load before the molds are finalized. At this point, we start to realize how Princecraft's location might provide a distinct advantage.
Actually, Princecraft is in Princeville, Quebec since 1954. You know, Princeville was actually the boat capital in Canada. Back in the days, we had Peterborough, Sunray. There was plenty of other boat companies in the area. The only one left is Princecraft.
A group of experienced marine suppliers remain in Princeville, allowing Princecraft to source components locally. This proximity accelerates lead times while allowing close collaboration during the design, fitment, and testing phases. With development complete, we move on to manufacturing, where a large percentage is performed in-house. To start with, aluminum sheets are rolled and welded to make tubes. End caps are pressed and welded to stern sections, while nose cones are fabricated and welded to bow sections. Depending on length, several sections are then welded together to form a complete tube. Cross-channel supports are cut and welded in place, and then the tubes are pressurized. Subdeck cross-channels are cut and fixed in place while the vinyl flooring is cut to length. Once the pressure-treated plywood is riveted down, adhesive is applied by a spray gun for a nice, even coat before the vinyl flooring is laid down and the aluminum skirting is secured in place. Railing assemblies are fabricated in-house with jigs for accurate cutting and welding. Painted side panels are secured to the railings before being bent as a single unit. Once complete, the rails and gates are secured in place on the deck before the furniture is added. Furniture components arrive in pieces and are assembled on site. Speakers are installed into seat bases while gauges and doors are added to consoles, all done by hand. Once assembled, the furniture is installed on the deck. When the Mercury outboard is mounted, you know you're nearing the end of the process. The final step before the boats leave the building? Each one is carefully shrink-wrapped to protect it from the elements. From the first weld to the plastic wrap, the whole process takes about 3 days before a Vectra is on its way to your local dealer. And that, folks, in 6 simple minutes is how you get a boat from concept to consumer.
The wind is kicked up and is howling across Lake Superior like a Gordon Lightfoot song, but the Cam is like a mirror today. Welcome back to beautiful Thunder Bay on the northwest shore of Lake Superior. We've left the marina downtown, cruised into the mouth of the Kaministiquia River, past McKellar Island, and under the Jackknife Bascule Bridge. The wind is kicked up and is howling across Lake Superior like a Gordon Lightfoot song. But the Cam is like a mirror today. The cliffs and trees lining the shoreline offering almost total protection. And to me, it's worth revisiting because I love boating, and what I love more is seeing others boat. But it's still a male-dominated pastime. For it to grow, we want more women at the helm, like Kristen.
Go back 4 years, like when you first time you sat
Yes.
sat where you are, what was that like?
You know, a mix of emotions. It was, you're nervous, but also very excited. The more you get behind and practice and just get out in the water and apply the things that you've learned, you do become more comfortable, but you're always aware. Being aware, constantly looking around for any kind of hazards, and there's still things that I need to learn and practice. But it's so much better now. 4 years ago, I would be worried, but where are we going? Which way should I go? What side should I be on? But once you learn that and just you come out a few more times, it's much more comfortable.
Donut shop, donut shop, donut shop. This is for Christ's sake, over.
G Money, what's up, brother?
Where are you guys?
We're just coming up to Bowater right now.
What are you guys doing? Like the TV hosts or what?
So because we have the camera here, you are now the official spokesperson for all aspiring women boaters. What would you say to women out there about why they should get behind the wheel and learn?
It's an amazing experience. It's very empowering, and anybody can do it, male or female. Just give yourself the chance to try it and be with somebody who is very patient and wanting to teach you what to do. Just enjoy yourself. It's a great experience and very empowering to see more women behind the helm.
Being a passenger instead of driving, which I often have to do, is awesome. And I was really able to soak up the scenery, which ranged from a massive pulp and paper mill to some waterfront homes and cabins. But the further upriver you go, you're mostly on your own. And even on a mid-July day like this, you have a good chance of being the only boat on the Cam for the 3.5-mile run up to Old Fort William, the reason Thunder Bay even exists.
So going back a little bit, even before Fort William was here, the Northwest Company, which is the company operating in this area in the early 19th century and late 18th century, were based out of Grand Portage, south of the border. After the American Revolution, years after that, they were sort of squeezed north and were told they were going to have to pay duty on all goods coming across the border, so they needed to find another inland headquarters. So they moved to the mouth of the Kaministiquia River, which is where Fort William was built in 1803.
The current location, featuring historical interpreters and a rebuilt version of the entire fort, is not at the original location at the mouth of the river, but rather it's at this new location further upriver.
The purpose of Fort William is a transshipment point and inland headquarters of the Northwest Company. So what that means is you have canoe brigades every year when the ice goes out in the spring. The brigades are departing from wherever they're coming from, whether they're many of the posts out west or coming from Montreal, and they make the journey to Fort William and arrive here in the middle of July usually, at which point they exchange the goods they've brought, whether it's fur or trade goods, and head back to their respective place, back to Montreal or back into the interior out west. They can't make that journey without stopping at Fort William and breaking that long journey up.
But don't make the mistake of thinking this is just some modern imagination of what it may have looked like. Thanks to a rather fastidious officer who commissioned a detailed inventory of every building and all stores, this fort has been rebuilt to exact specifications. How big each building was, its exact location, the floor plan, even the contents. I can tell you more about Fort William and what's in it than what's in my own house, I think. And with that waterfront connection and the rich heritage, this merits a visit by anyone in my mind, especially boaters. And for Scott and Kristen, this is a regular stop for their summer boating adventures.
Like, you guys have come here for festivals and concerts and mud runs and stuff like that, but like when you're touring either yourselves or with friends, do you just kind of come up here and, this being the end of the line for the river, just loop around, or do you anchor, have lunch?
Sometimes it's a little bit of both. Sometimes, depending on time frames, this is our spot where we turn around and head back casually to home. But a lot of times it's such a beautiful day like today, we like to put the anchor out on such a great set and have some snacks.
Sweet. Are we done? I'm hungry, and they're right here, and they look good. Hey, Scott, cauliflower? Can I interest you?
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. Perfect. Love the cauliflower.
Yeah, it's your favorite?
It's my
Thank
favorite.
you.
Thanks.
Keep rolling, keep rolling. You gotta finish the whole thing.
Fantastic.
Here's a tip for everyone. If you're on the boat of a police officer who hates cauliflower and you force him to eat it on camera, you get the stink eye the whole run back. But I stand by my move. And of course, once we're back and safely tied up, we can officially toast an amazing trip to the lakehead. A legend of water-based travel, old and new.
Hey, cheers. Thanks, guys. That was awesome, Chris and Scott.
What a great time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to
Lake Captain, River Captain, Pelican Finder, Pelican Hoper. We're gonna be branching out on PowerBoat TV this year and doing deck and shed reviews. First of all, there's your problem right there. You don't got no land underneath your shed.
Well,
That is the wrong answer.
I'm sorry, that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah. Back to you, Jim. All right, take her back.
We're done.
It's a wrap.
Okay. See y'all next week.
And see